Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Offenders Podcast. As always, I'm Kyle, joined by my co-host Evan.
Oh, hey everybody. I would ask how you're doing, but I don't really care, because I'm a jerk.
Wow.
Speaking of jerks, spitting in my car, just hawking loogies everywhere, is Shane Tipton.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi Shane. So, it's been a little bit since we've recorded one.
Yeah.
I'd like to go ahead and apologize to everybody. It's mostly my fault, because I've been really busy with school stuff.
How dare you look out for your fucking future?
The future. Yeah, so if you have any kind of emails and you want to send like hate mail, you can send it to Evan, and he'll let me know about it.
Make sure that you, how's that joke go? Write all your complaints on a $20 bill, and then you can hand them to me in a handshake where it looks like we're exchanging drugs, but it'll just be money. So it's not totally illegal. Okay. Only if I don't report it on my taxes.
Exactly. So, we've got a question that a listener sent in to us that we were going to kind of talk about. Some pretty good stuff should come from that. But, Evan, you said you had a story you wanted to start us off with this week.
Now, what I'm about to tell you sounds very improbable. It sounds very unlikely, but I assure
sex with a woman?
Yeah, I wish. Oh,
okay.
But I assure you, this actually happened.
Okay.
So, my band, World Demise, played a concert out of state in Auburn, Alabama last weekend.
Nice.
And it was awesome. Auburn, Alabama is a great place to play shows.
Yeah.
Well, I am friends with the band that we played with, the Riggs. And their drummer, Bobby, has a girlfriend named Samantha. And she's totally awesome. I recently got her into Monster Girl Quest, because she draws a lot of monster girls. And I think I kind of messed her up. And I want to apologize for that.
Whoa.
Because she plays the game all the time. And I don't know for sure if she was terribly perverted beforehand. But man, the things that she was saying made me blush.
Wow.
So,
Hello, Evan.
yeah, pretty much. Shut up, man.
That means nothing when it involves you.
A girl can shake my hand and I'll blush. I'll be like, don't get a boner right now. Just don't do it. But anyway.
She got soft hands, man. That's all I'm saying.
There goes the voice of my dick. So, we played the show and it was awesome. The Riggs played the show and it was awesome. The only thing that was unfortunate about it, which was also sort of a benefit, was it was in a house. We played a concert in a house.
Okay.
So the room that we played in was about the size of a bathroom. But it wasn't a bathroom. I suppose it could have been a sunroom or perhaps a little place for you to eat lunch. But anyway, it was very cramped in there. I almost got punched by several moshers, which was awesome. But it was very hot in there, and it was very steamy, and it smelled terrible because of all the people. So, of course, we wanted to cool off afterwards, so we walked outside, where it happened to be raining. But this also felt amazing, so we were cool with it. So we're all standing outside getting rained on, and Samantha had walked back inside. She was hanging out with Bobby because that's her boyfriend. So...
And that's the only reason. She actually hates him.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch. But
How
it's
can
her
you hate
boyfriend.
Bobby? He's awesome.
I don't know Bobby.
You should. He's a great dude.
Yeah, Bobby.
Bobby? Anyway, so after a while, we all have to go back because it's Auburn, Alabama, and it's like 2.5 hours away. So we're saying goodbye to everybody, and Sam runs up, and she hugs me. She's like, see you later, Evan. And she hugs me, and she goes, ew, you're all wet. Hey, everybody, Evan is covered in pussy juice. And I can't, this is audio-only podcast, so I can't show you my face, but I assure you, it was somewhere between Kintaro Oi and, fuck it, we'll just go with Kintaro Oi, because it was stupid looking. And everybody, as soon as she said that, because she got loud, as soon as she said that, everybody stopped talking and turned around and looked right at me. And for about half of a second, it was quiet. And then everybody laughed at me. And then... while this was happening, I had a little moment in my head where I imagined myself covered in pussy juice. Like I was just like fighting some gigantic like monster woman and she squatted on me and it's just like And it was amazing. I was like, man, this. And then I snapped back to reality. I was like, oh, the rainwater, yeah, yay! And everybody's like laughing and pointing at me and clapping. You're like, hey, he's covered in pussy juice. I was like, hey, everybody, I'm covered in pussy juice, yay!
What kind of random shit do you get into?
Exactly.
I know.
No, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself. So after giving pretty much everybody a high five and thanking them, I said goodbye and I left. And I was just like, for the next 15 minutes while we were driving to a Denny's to get some food, I was just like, of all the things she could have said to say goodbye, she chose that. And she made me look like the manliest man of all men at that concert. And that's why Samantha's my friend. Because she did that for me. She could have been like, Evan, you're wet. You're covered in cat pee. Nope. Evan, you're wet. You're sweaty and gross. Nope. Evan, you're covered in pussy juice. Yay!
Well, you always get applause everywhere you go. You're a big star.
No.
Yes,
No.
you do. You remember when we went to watch the movie, and right when the lights went out, you let this big belch, and then everybody in the theater just starts clapping.
What was that, Shanghai Noon or Shanghai Nights?
I think it was one of those two.
Yeah, I do remember that. I'd saved that burp specifically for that event. And it worked.
That is just a really random thing to yell out that somebody's covered in, though. I mean,
Exactly.
I
can
know
only...
how I would have reacted. I'd have probably been like, no. Actually, I probably would have made some comment that would have resulted in me maybe getting slapped. And I would have been like, are you offering? I don't know.
Well, I couldn't say that. That's my friend's girlfriend.
That's why I would have got slapped. Because I would have went to that, and I shouldn't have.
All I gotta say is I'm holding Monster Girl Quest accountable. Even if it isn't. Because I know I think about that stuff. I just don't say it out loud. So props to Samantha.
Is that like some kind of attack in that? Like you get covered in pussy juice? Like rather than
I
rain
wouldn't
3,
doubt
it's
it.
pussy juice 3?
Sort of. It depends on the monster that you're fighting. A lot of times you'll get sucked in, if you will. If you will. There are other bodily fluid attacks. Thankfully nothing too gross. But if you want to learn about it, just play the game. You can find it for free at arrowgay.com. I'm currently almost finished with part 3. I finished 1 and 2, but they just released the English patch for part 3, and it consumes a lot of my time.
I like how you said, or other bodily fluids that are more gross.
Not
Aren't
too gross.
Not too gross.
Oh, not
okay,
too gross.
You want examples? Boob milk. Okay, there's boob milk. There's a spider woman that sprays boob milk on you, which turns into a web, which doesn't make any sense because spiders don't shoot webs from their boobs.
Well, I'll have you know that some geneticists actually made goat's milk that had spider's silk in it, so it is possible.
Well, I'll be goddamn. Science. Check out the big brain on Brad.
But no, to go back to that, so it's less gross to be covered in pussy juice than some other bodily fluids. I mean, I think almost all bodily fluids be completely covered in it would be pretty gross.
Well, I would rather take pussy juice over pee or full snot.
Okay. I mean, I guess if we're going to classify it, I mean, we should probably come up with this gross scale of bodily fluids so we can determine this. But
Pussy
I guess
juice
that
is
would
a
be
0 on the gross scale. It's on the delicious scale. It's
know,
on the fucking awesome scale.
Depends on the pussy.
I guess so. I mean, yeah. I'll handle that. But that's like, that could be anybody. Well, I don't know. I could go all day on this one. So I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna pull out.
Go ahead and pull out.
Just go with the safe. Just go with the safe one. Blood. Nobody minds being covered in blood. Right?
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Kyle. Well, I guess Kyle's a wussy then.
I guess you're commenting on the video I sent earlier. Or you didn't make it all the way through. That's what I'm guessing too.
We made it probably about 45 seconds, and there were a number of sighs, so we just stopped.
Fair enough.
But that guy is really funny, though. He was the guy from Hot Tub Time Machine, Motley Lue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's funny as shit. I always get him mixed up with David Koechner.
Yeah. For those who what we were talking about is I saw the trailer for like season 4 of Children's Hospital, which is some Adult Swim TV show, and it was something where it's like they're at a blood drive and they're talking about you should get blood, and suddenly one of the guys sprays the other guy with blood, and before you know it, they're like picking people up and using them as like water guns with blood spraying it at each other. It's just ridiculous. So, but I decided to share it with Evan and Shane.
Did you mention he's dressed as a clown?
Oh, no, yeah, he's dressed as a clown. This is going on. I mean, I figured people have either seen Children's Hospital or know what it is. Because I think it's like in its 5th or 6th season at this point.
Now, was the blood on his shirt supposed to be lungs? Or was it like some subliminal thing where we're supposed to think it's lungs, but it's just blood? Or
I don't know. I've actually never seen the show. I just saw that trailer and was like, wow, this is crazy. I still don't want to watch the show, though. But
yeah.
So it didn't do its job.
I just want to see more Motley Lou. I want Hot Tub Time Machine, too, because that movie was fucking great.
But
so, Kyle, have you seen Hot Tub Time Machine?
I actually have not seen Hot Tub Time Machine.
It's very funny.
I hear it's really good.
Yeah, it's a lot of like improv. So you can tell that they were just like they had a script, but then they would just go with some shit, and that's my favorite kind of comedy.
It's my only kind of comedy.
Yeah, it's very funny, very funny, and it has that really hot blonde chick whose name I can never remember, but she's really funny.
Well, that narrows it down.
It sure does.
It probably does narrow it down. I just don't know who it is.
There's the woman who has the TV show Chelsea something, who gets naked in the shower a lot, but you can never see it because they fucking edited it out. But still, I mean, that's better than nothing, I guess. She was in, what was the name of that movie with Seth Rogen in it where he played the mall cop? Observe and Report. Did you see Observe and Report?
Yeah. That show, that movie, like, I could tell it was supposed to be funny and it had funny moments, but it was really just depressing to me. It was really depressing.
The sidekick, one of my favorite parts is like after Seth Rogen is yelling at his boss, the little sidekick dude, the Mexican cop guy, like he pushes his glasses up and goes, "Damn!" So fucking great. But the reason I brought that up is because the woman who worked at
I like
huh?
I was like, I like the whole thing with Aziz Ansari when they're like the talking back and forth between him and Seth Rogen. That's pretty good.
The whisper.
Yeah. Fuck you.
But the woman who works at that little snack shop in the mall, that's the blonde woman I was talking about. I can't remember her name, but she's very funny.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She had the busted up leg.
Yeah.
Busted up leg.
Broken leg.
Indeed.
What were we talking about before?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
Yeah,
the clown hospital and the blood.
The clown hospital.
Blood guns.
For all those too many pies to the face, couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Had to go to the hospital.
Well, why don't we go ahead and jump into the question that we were asked by a listener? You guys ready for it? Your butt prepared?
Yes.
Okay, don't clench. All right. So, a listener from Washington, Adam, he sent us an email, and it says, do you have any good driving stories? And he says, I was driving home from school in a POS 1978 $300 car, and while metal blasted from speakers, something exploded in his effing face, is what he says. He said, so he pulled over, and the car was fine, and as he looked down at the footwell in a veritable rainbow of Bic lighters, and he made sure to put the copyright on Bic, so he can't get sued, because he's acknowledging it.
Nice guy.
Bic lighters littered the floor mat. So he figured what had happened is that decades of a smoker who had owned this car, I'm guessing prior to him, losing their lighter down the defroster shook loose. The fan and the heat were on high, and one exploded in his car and just caused the rest of them to basically come pouring out. So I can just imagine that happening. I probably would have shit my pants if something like that would have exploded in my face, But so that's Adam's story. But he asked, do we have any kind of driving stories?
Well, first, before we go to that, I just want to mention two things. Number one, I want to know what metal he was listening to, because there's some really bad metal out there, like baby metal. And I'm hoping he was listening to something like At the Gates or Dark Tranquility, Old in Flames. So that's what I'm going to imagine. And number two, I don't know if you just censored yourself because that's how he typed it, or if you censored yourself to make up for the fact that I cussed 7 times on that podcast where I wasn't supposed to say one cuss word. So thank you.
He censored himself. He censored himself.
Oh, okay.
You're so ridiculous, Evan.
Fucking A.
It's like It's like, all right, we're not supposed to do too much cursing on this podcast. Oh, don't worry about it. All day at work, I don't cuss. I won't utter a single syllable of it.
It's the truth. You can ask anybody. At work, I never swear.
The best part was every time he would curse, Steven would look at me like he would just give me this big open look, like, oh my god, did he just do that? And then the next time he would do it, he'd look at me like even harder, like again, and then he started shaking his hand like 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, and I think Evan eventually realized it.
I felt like it was my first cuss word. I was like, and he really, I caught myself. I was like, yeah, I caught my first cuss word. And then I look over at Steven, and he's like, 7 times. Yeah. He like whispered and held up 7 fingers. I was like, oh, shucks.
And then you make the comment like, don't worry, Kyle can edit them out. I didn't edit it down.
Yeah.
Because I forgot.
So I would just like to apologize to the Mormons and the Christians and the, whatever the fuck people listen to his podcast that don't swear. I'm sorry. As I'm sure you're listening to an offender's podcast right now.
Yeah. But so, what kind of driving stories do you guys have? Anything like crazy driving stories or things that have happened?
Thories. Is that a story with Thor in it?
Yeah.
It is.
I was driving down the street, 200 miles an hour. All of a sudden I get passed. What the hell was that? I didn't see anything but like red and yellow. And it was Thor's like red cape and his blonde hair as he went flying by.
I thought you were going with the Flash. I was like, he's crossing it over.
And all of a sudden, another car goes by me and cuts me off. That's okay because Thor slams his hammer down on the hood and it goes flying through the air. And he's like, I say thee nay! And that was it. That was the crazy Thor.
Dude, do you think that Thor has like Viking metal that accompanies him when he flies? Like he flies by and you hear a monomorph. It's like,
yes,
Thor, Odin's son, protector of mankind, rise and meet your fate. Your destiny awaits.
Yes, I hope he does.
I want to hang out with Thor all the time. Twilight of Thunder God is an awesome album, by the way. Go check it out. So back to our stories. I'm sorry, we got off on a tangent.
I don't have a lot of driving stories. I have one that's amusing to me, but it's more amusing if you were there.
Go ahead. And all of our stories are that way.
No, you go ahead.
Speaking of funny, if you were there, let me tell you about my story. Shane and myself, our friend Frank, and our friend Alan were driving. Well, Alan was driving, and we were all passengers. Franklin and I were in the back seat. Shane was in the passenger seat, and Alan was driving. We were going out to Lake Wildwood, I believe it was.
I think so.
Which is a subdivision here in Macon, Georgia. I don't even remember. Who the fuck was out there? Why were we driving out there?
He was probably just driving around.
Well, anyway, it had just rained, and he gets the bright idea to be a smartass and jerk the wheel really hard to one side to make it seem like we were going to crash. And by golly,
you did.
Guess what happened? We fishtailed. And during the fishtail, we start screaming. All of us are screaming, just yelling.
It's not fishtailing at that point. It's spinning.
It's spinning. We're just spinning around in circles. And Shane has the presence of mind to say,
we're all gonna die!
He screams, we're all gonna die.
With a big smile on my face.
Spinning. And I'm like, I can't even summon up words because I think we're all gonna die. So I'm just like, ah! So we spin off of the road and go into a ditch, and we're approaching a stop sign and a fucking fire hydrant. And I'm like, fuck! And we stop seriously like 7 inches in front of the fucking fire hydrant in the ditch.
And about 1 inch from the sign.
And about 1 inch from the sign. And it was either me or Frank who said, are we dead? And Alan's like, no. And then immediately I said, why did you say we're all going to die, Shane? It was already a stressful enough situation without you throwing that shit at us.
Hey, man, if I'm going to die, I'm going out with a joke.
That's fair enough. And we all get out of the car, and none of us had pissed our pants. The car was fine. The road was fine. Everything was fine, except for the 1 year that we lost of our life due to the fucking frightening experience of spinning around on a road and almost plowing into a fucking fire hydrant and stop sign at the same time. Good thing that the car read the fucking sign and decided to stop.
That's what it was.
Nice.
But yeah, that was the last accident that I was in, I think. No, wait, I have another one.
I don't really even consider that an accident, though, because there was no accident. The car just lost control. You didn't hit anything.
Well, if you lose control and
it wasn't an accident,
go into a ditch, it was an accident.
It wasn't on purpose, for sure.
Yeah.
Shane, do you have a story?
I mean, I have a really short story that I just think is cool.
Go for it.
All right.
One of the reasons, I'll say this, by the way, is like when people are driving, this is sort of separate. They're like, I'm not driving too crazy from you. I was like, no, I rode with Frank all the time. And he's
Frank
actually,
is nuts.
he's a really good driver. He's a really good driver, so I just never worried about him.
Daredevil driver.
But
I don't mean he drives like he's blind. He's just really good.
But actually, I'm going to go with two stories. Both of them are very short. One of them is with one of his ex-girlfriends.
Oh, God.
And, yeah, that one. So, we're going down the street, and he's like, she knows where we're going. So he's like, all right, well, tell me where I need to turn at. And we're going, and she doesn't say anything. She doesn't say anything. So we get about 7 foot or so from the place we're going to turn. And she's like, oh, we need to turn here. So he did. Immediately. It's just like, it's the whole truck slides sideways.
Oh, God.
And he just starts going down the street. He's like, next time you'll tell me early, won't you?
Mind you, this isn't an Acura Integra. This
No,
is a Honda Civic. This is a fucking Mazda 1987 piece of shit truck, and he's fucking driving it like he's a goddamn master.
The other one is where we were driving around. I think it was St. Andrews, and in St. Andrews, they don't put dead end signs, I guess, because rich people have like radar or something, so they know when there's going to be a dead end. And there's no lights either, because electricity's too expensive if you have $1 billion. So we're just driving down and we're talking to each other, and he's driving, and then all of a sudden, like,
there's no road.
Yes, there's just no road. And he slams on brakes and we slide and we stop like a foot from just nothingness. There's nothing. There's nothing down there. It's just a giant hole. I was like, oh, well, I wish someone would have warned us about that.
That would be a great sign to make. Beware, giant fucking hole in the middle of nowhere ahead.
And you can't see it. Like, the light can't hit the ground ahead of you because there's no ground.
Man, that's awesome.
Man, yeah, I've had situations like that where you're driving, especially when you're looking for something, and you go down a road you've never been down, and like you realize the road just ends, and there's no signs telling you that. You're like, oh shit, you're skidding off into like dirt or something.
I have another really quick story before we go to you, Kyle. I'm so sorry. Okay. Please forgive me. A long time ago, one of my best friends in the world is this guy named Mike Boggs. Basically, Mike Boggs is, if you've seen Live Free or Die Hard, he is the warlock. He is Kevin Smith's character. He lives his life in a fucking big easy chair with his internet on this giant big screen TV, and he can do anything on the internet that is possible, and often does. Well, one of the few times that we got him to leave his house was we went to one of our mutual friends, Ryan Crocker. He had wow, this is Lake Wildwood too, weird. So we go to Lake Wildwood for this party, and Mike and I, well, Mike drinks now, but I still don't. So we were hanging out there, and every fucking person at this party was drunk. Everybody, there was like 30, 40 people there, all drunk. And we were like, so do you guys have any chasers? And they were like, who fucking needs a chaser? I got whiskey. So I'm like, fuck. Hey, Mike, I know you drove, but can we go to Kroger and get like some black cherry soda from Kroger? And he's like, yeah, dude, let's go. So the two sober guys hop into the car and head to Kroger. So we go to Kroger, our local shopping center here, and we grab some big K black cherry soda, some what's the Mountain Dew one called?
Is it Citrus Drop?
Citrus Drop.
Okay.
We get some Citrus Drop, some cola. None of that Dr. K bullshit, because it doesn't even taste like Dr. Pepper. Nah. So we get all our drinks, and we head back to the party. Well, as we're leaving, Mike decides to drive slowly by some girls and oogle them. And as he's doing that, I notice that they are too young for him to be oogling. I'm like, dude, no! Wrong! You're not a priest. Don't look. So, automatically, I'm like, man, why'd you have to do it? He's like, I didn't know, man. It was too late. It was too late, and I stopped looking. So we're driving back, and karma happens. In the car, karma, if you will. We are stopped in front of the entrance to Lake Wildwood, and I'm sitting there, and we're stopped, and we're waiting for these cars to pass so he can turn left, and I see some headlights, if you will, growing exponentially in his rearview mirror. And all of a sudden, I'm like, shit. And before the tea comes out of my mouth, we get plowed into in the back. And you know when shit goes crazy, you go in slow motion? I saw his glasses go off of his nose and smooth back his hair. At the same time that the bottle of citrus drop flies from the floorboard between Mike and my head into the back seat and explode in midair. The collision was so great that it made the bottle explode all over the back seat. And as this happens, both of our seats fail and we just recline backwards. We're just reclining like it's a nice summer day. And as soon as we stop, our seats recline forward. So we're like, just back forth like in a fucking cartoon. And I look over to Mike, I'm like, dude, are you okay? And his glasses are holding his hair back like a fucking, like a teacher with their little hair things. And he's like, dude, oh man, dude, man. So I look back, and there's this big fat redneck in this gigantic truck. And he's walking out of his truck, and I get out, and he's like, I didn't see y'all! And mind you, there's fucking nothing in the road. It's just a road. There's no palm trees. There's nothing. So instead of being an asshole, I'm like, it's okay. Let's call the police. And as I am walking, this is why it pays to live in a good neighborhood. As I am walking to the guard's office to call the police, the fucking police show up.
Yeah.
Before I even make it to the phone. So the two guys who didn't want to drink get into a car accident by avoiding drinking.
Well, that'll teach you. You should have just had a drink.
Nope. But I won't be drinking soda anymore. That's for damn sure. It's been like 3 years
Too bad,
now.
like, it was a citrus drop that exploded. It'd been better if it was like some red cherry soda, so you got out like you're all covered in it, and the guy's like blood or something all over the place.
Oh my god!
I shot Marvin in the face.
Man, what is about Lake Wildwood?
I don't know, man.
Because there's another driving thing that has to do with that.
Lake
You remember
Wildwood's
Doogie?
a dangerous area.
Oh my god. Yeah, we went to a school with a guy named Doogie. That's not a joke. That's for real.
I don't think that was actually his name.
I was about
That's
to say,
what we
was
call
his really
That is what we called him.
His real name was Jerry Lynn Davis.
That's right.
But I don't know if I should have said that on the radio. Fuck it. Who cares? He's not listening.
Even if he is.
Yeah.
All I'm going to do is make fun of him.
Why y'all gonna use my name?
Anyway, you know the spillway that has the big hill?
Yeah.
He thought he was going to be awesome, so he floors it and goes like off the top of the hill, like the very top of it. It's like as fast as he can. So of course my head bounces off the ceiling because I'm really close to it. You know, my head's already right next to it, so I'm like, ugh! And then it hits and it's like, bam! And everything's fine. The rest of that day, you know, my head, I don't have a real bad headache or anything. I just hit my head. It was kind of funny. So the next time we hang out with him, we're driving over one of these roads off Forest Hill over here. And we're just driving along, and all of a sudden we hear clang! And then very loud noise from the car, like his muffler fell off. The whole thing. Whole exhaust system fell off because it got knocked loose when he jumped.
Oh my god. Damn.
Man. Yeah, I know the exact spillway you're talking about. So for people who don't know, what it is like when it rains really bad, the lake fills up too high, and there's a part of the road that dips really low, and the water will overflow that part of the road and stuff. So they close it off from time to time because of that. But when it's not closed off, it's actually like a giant parking lot that a road just happens to go through because it's just like concrete. And yeah, we used to do that too. We would just get down there where you take the hill down and gun it, and then just try to gas it over it as fast as you could to like get air.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think we've all done that. It's fun as shit until you
Like,
land and you
yeah,
hit your
back
head.
over there in Forest Hill where it's so hilly, we used to do it over there too. Like you would, especially like on Lock Choppy, you would get back on those back
Yeah,
roads where
dude.
it's like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget there's this rock at the bottom of one of these hills. Like in the hill, it goes up really high and then it comes down really fast and it's a sharp turn. And I'll never forget people not realizing there was a turn there, and they would come down super fast, and all of a sudden you would see them hit this huge boulder. And most of the time it would stop them dead. I remember one time coming by there later in the day, and that boulder had been pushed like down the
Wow.
hill from where somebody hit it so hard.
Son of a bitch.
Oh my!
But,
I forgot the craziest story.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Well, nothing terrible happened, but it could have. So I want everybody to know that the Firestone in Macon, it's over there where the Macon Mall is. Don't ever go there and have your brakes fixed, cause Frank did in his truck. And we're driving over on Northside Drive, and we're coming up to where the red light's going to be. So he applies the brakes, and a noise is made. There's a little clunk clunk noise, and the truck doesn't stop. And he's like, "Oh, I don't have any brakes." So he pulls the emergency brake. He just pulls off into the parking lot, and everything's fine because he uses emergency brake and he stops. Because like I said, he's an excellent driver. But so we get out to see what's wrong with the brakes, and I look and I'm like, I found out what's wrong with the brakes. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "They're hanging from the bottom of the truck because they didn't bolt them back on. So when he hit the brakes, they just slid off, and they're just hanging by the brake line under the truck."
What the fuck?
Yes.
I think that same place you mentioned, there's a friend of mine went and got his oil changed there once or something, and he's driving, and all of a sudden as he goes around the corner, starts hearing all this rattling sound, and they forgot to put the lid on the oil, and they left a screwdriver inside of it. The screwdriver was rattling around inside of his engine with the lid that had been removed from the oil where you put the oil in.
How the fuck is that place still open to this day?
I don't know.
I guess there's worse places in town.
I hope not.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least your car didn't explode any of those. Then maybe they do at other places.
I suppose that's what it is.
Wasn't that the tire company where their fucking tires would just explode while you're driving? Wasn't that Firestone?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was, back in the, I think it was the late 90s.
Wow.
I mean, they
Worse than
shouldn't
that.
have been making their tires out of nitroglycerin.
Man, that would be awesome to watch one time.
Yeah, watch, not participate.
Yes.
So I have two stories too. One of which Shane was in, and it's not anything involving an accident, but it's just one of those things I'll never forget. But the one that was almost an accident, I was driving my little Ford Taurus I used to have years ago down the interstate, and I see a truck up in front of me, and in the back of the pickup truck is a mattress and a box spring, and it's not tied down. And I see it start kind of flopping a bit, and I'm like, that looks really dangerous. And about that time, the wind caught the box spring, and it went flying into the air on the interstate system. And so you can see the people directly behind the car are like, oh shit, and they're swerving off the road. And other people don't realize what's happening, and about that time, the box springs come careening down the middle of the interstate. And everybody goes swerving away from it.
Holy shit.
As it explodes into a million fucking pieces. The truck never stopped, just kept going.
Fucking A.
Either he didn't realize it, or he was just like, not gonna get arrested for this shit, and just kept going.
Leroy Jenkins!
But that now reminds me of something happened to me and my dad, which almost the exact same situation. So him and my mom, they had one of those giant California king-size mattresses, and they were moving. And my dad was like, we'll just put it in the back of the flatbed of this trailer. I was like, do we need to tie it down? He's like, hell no, that thing's so heavy, it ain't gonna blow away. We're driving down Zebulon, and all of a sudden I hear my dad say, oh shit, it fell out the back of the truck in the middle of the road, which is like a 4-lane road. And people were swerving all over the place and stuff, trying to avoid it. And then we have to pull over, run out the road, grab it, and drag it back over really quick and throw it in the back of the truck.
Oh, man.
So, now the other story I had with Shane was we're in my car, and we're getting ready to turn somewhere. And Shane looks over to the person in the car next to us. And he says, that's the chicken lady from Kids in the Hall. And sure enough, we look over, and this woman looks exactly like Chicken Lady from Kids in the Hall. Yeah. And it was
She even walks like a chicken.
Yeah, it was so weird, because she had the same movements and everything sitting in her car.
Holy fuck! I thought you lived in Canada.
She moved down to Georgia, evidently.
Shit.
Do you ever, like, find yourself when you're stopped just, like, really watching people in other cars like that, though? Like, I guess if you're a passenger, it's more likely, but when you're a driver, sometimes you just get distracted looking at other people in vehicles and what they're doing.
Obviously not Shane.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm usually too busy playing air drums to whatever I'm listening to. But if I'm a passenger, I usually do look around.
Okay. Because I do that a lot. Like, I'll get, I'm stopped somewhere, and I start to really, like, look around to the point sometimes I'll get distracted and, like, not realize, like, oh, I should be driving right now. Because I'm just, like, ADD kicks in, and I'm totally interested in everything else going on around me. But
one of my fears is, did you guys ever see that movie with David Schwimmer from Friends in it on HBO called Breast Men?
No.
Yeah, it was a movie. It was based on a true story. It's based on a true story. It's about the guy that invented boob implants, and David Schwimmer's that guy. Well, spoiler alert: the guy dies, and the way that he dies is the way that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go out as well. Hopefully not, though. I want to go out, like, having sex on a mountaintop, like, and then, like, I save the day somehow. But we'll get into that on another. We'll get into that on another day.
What's that happen?
That's a whole nother story.
Hold on. My imagination can do it. So, all right, I got a picture up on a mountain having sex with this girl.
Yes.
And there's these terrorists that are on the mountain. Because there's a camping trip up there where all these kids are, and they're going to take them hostage and they're going to kill them. And as they're sneaking up on them, like, it hits the climax of the sex, and the woman just screams out, and an avalanche happens and just takes out all the terrorists. And that's how you could do it.
Fucking A, man.
It sounds like if Cliffhanger was a porno.
Yes.
Cliffhanger.
Oh God.
Thank you. I was trying to think of a porn name, but I couldn't. I was having.
It sounds so real too.
That's the job I don't get paid for, is making porn names out of stuff that shouldn't be. But anyway, fuck. Where was I going with that? What was I talking about?
Breast Man.
How are you going to go out? Yes.
Thank you, Kyle. So in Breast Men, he's in his car and he's driving, and this woman with gigantic boobs is walking down the street. And he starts looking at her instead of the street. So, as he's driving, he fails to notice that there's a red light. And he drives right through the red light. And the last thing that you hear is, fuck! F-U, and then there's a hyphen. Because he gets hit by a gigantic fucking Mack truck and he dies. And I'm like, I really got to keep my shit together. It's like when somebody, like, is doing heroin. And they see that guy who's on heroin, and he's like, he's doing the most outlandish shit, and he's like, I gotta get my shit together. That's the moment of clarity that I had. It's like, I can't just go around looking at boobies while I'm driving cars. I have to stop the car and then look at boobies.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to look at boobies when you're not driving.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that reminds me.
Most of the time, I catch myself. Most of the time.
Speaking of people not looking where they're going, another of Frank's ex-girlfriends. I'm sitting in the back seat.
Hold on one moment. I like how Evan doesn't even know which one. He just automatically goes, ugh. Like, they were all bad.
Not all of them. I'm going to assume that it's the worst one.
No, it's a different one.
Was it the one whose butt you looked at that time?
Will you stop it? And that was not on purpose.
Now you have to tell that story afterward, too.
But she's driving, and, like, you know, she says something, and I say something to her, right? And I'm sitting in the back seat. So she turns around and looks at me when she's talking to me.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, your ears can pick up the sound without your head facing me. Watch where the hell you're going. It's just ridiculous. She was really bad about it, too. We're going somewhere, you know, before they put that new school over there where the Kmart used to be. It was just an empty lot. Yeah. So she's just driving, and, like, she's talking, and then, like, she just pulls into that empty parking space, and I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? She's like, I don't know, I was talking. I was like, well, don't talk! Don't talk, drive!
At least she didn't turn around and look at you. She could have been like, there's really nothing to worry about, Mary. Statistically, you're much more likely to get killed in a car accident on the way to the airport than...
Boom! At that point, you get hit.
I watch Dumb and Dumber way too much.
Yeah, that kind of gets into something with women drivers in general. Like
Kyle said that.
What?
Nothing.
Well, most of the women I know either are extremely aggressive drivers, like scary level aggressive, or are just bad, just bad, and it's because they don't like to do it and they hate doing it. So when they do it, they haven't been doing it that much. But the aggressive ones to me are the worst, because just one person I can think of now, whenever she would drive and I'd be in the passenger seat and she would get behind somebody who was maybe the speed limit is 55 and they're doing 50, she'd be like, oh my God, they're going so slow, and she just want to gas it around them as fast as she could. I'm like, Jesus, calm down, it's just 5 miles an hour. You know, it's
people
not
like
really
that.
Make a
People like that are ridiculous, especially like when you're on a road and every like 700 foot there's a red light, and they just come flying around at 90 miles an hour, and then you catch up with them in like 30 seconds because they stopped at the red light.
Yep.
Speaking of bad women drivers, I have another story when Kyle's finished with his.
Well, that's just what I was going to say, is that most of the women drivers that I know, you get those two kinds, and they're both, you know, neither one's a really good one, but I am much more terrified of the aggressive drivers. Because my dad, I remember when he was teaching me how to drive, his first thing was he's like, I'm not worried about you on the road. You should be worried about every other fucking idiot on the road. You should automatically assume if somebody's driving a car next to you, they're a fucking idiot. Be ready for them to do something stupid.
That's good advice.
It is, because it's true. Like, I watch people a lot while I'm driving, because I know somebody's going to do something stupid, especially up here where I'm at, because people ride bikes, and people on bikes, you get two kinds. The ones who understand that they could easily be murdered because of the way they ride their bike, and there's so many cars, or the ones that are just like, I'm on my bike, fuck it. Those are the ones who get murdered on their bikes.
Yeah.
And Kyle took that teaching and applied it to everything in life. I'm going to assume that everybody around me is a fucking idiot.
All right, so that's funny and true, too, because when I worked in retail and I was the manager, a lot of my employees would ask me, like, how do you not get super frustrated with people? I was like, because I take this one little fact into my mind. If you've walked through that door and shopping here, I'm better than you. I don't care who the fuck you are, I'm better than you. And I'm above you at this point. So anything you do and say, you're a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned, because I'm better than you.
And
You're coming to me for something. I'm not coming to you.
The birth of the supervillain evil genius. So here's the story that I have. One of my ex-girlfriends, most of them you can go, about. It's
Yeah.
had a very bad temper when driving.
Oh, God, I know which one it is.
Yep. So we're leaving Burger King, and as we're pulling out, there happened to be an elderly couple that was driving about 30 feet away, nowhere near us, in any way, form, threatening. Number one, because they're old and slow. And number two, because they're still old and slow. So we pull out, and she goes, they're trying to fucking cut me off! I'm like, I couldn't even fashion words into a sentence because they were so far away.
I remember that.
So she tears out of the fucking parking lot and goes down the street, turns around in another parking lot, and spins out and darts in front of these poor old people with me sitting in the passenger seat with the passenger side towards the oncoming car.
Yes.
We're parked sideways in the middle of the fucking road with me acting as the fucking guard between the old people and her. And I'm like, fuck! And she just sticks her fucking hand and flips off these old people in front of my face out the window and goes, fuck you! Screaming in my ear.
Fuck you, Evan! Why do you let old people exist?
And she's flipping these
Whoa,
old people.
That's Evan's fault? Well,
Yes.
fuck him.
Everything.
Yeah,
is my
you're
fault.
doing it wrong, Evan.
Exactly. So these old people look like they just saw Godzilla. And they're like, I'm pretty sure that they cried afterwards. Because they slam on the brakes and narrowly avoid killing me. And she just sits there holding her finger out, yelling and swearing. And I'm like, get the fuck out of the road! And she's like, why are you getting an attitude with me? Then
the ones who almost killed us.
Oh, my.
And mind you, this was not the moment where I realized that I had to break up with her. That came much later because I'm an idiot.
Wait a minute. We might have just uncovered an international conspiracy.
What?
What if all women purposefully drive bad and crazy so they don't have to drive that much? And they just get guys to do it because you're so terrified. You're like, God, I don't want him to drive. I'll drive. Fuck it.
I just made conspiracy Keanu face.
Yeah. Maybe, man. I mean, that's legit. I think it's a possibility. Now, and to go back, I do know some women drivers that are really good, but majority of the ones I know are not. They're really bad. But yeah, let's just keep going down this rabbit hole of offending people based on their driving skills. All right.
Live up to our name.
When I lived down there in Macon, if somebody was driving bad, my assumption was these fucking old people in front of me. Usually it was fairly accurate. These fucking old people driving really slow or something, or really bad. Since I've moved up here to Athens, it's now these fucking Asians in front of me. Because it's specifically these fucking Asian women on their cell phones in front of me. Because you'll see them just yapping away on their phone, driving like 5 miles an hour on the interstate, swerving between lanes, just like carrying on the most animated conversation ever. It's like they got 3 hands, 1 to hold the phone and 2 to move, but none to hold the wheel.
Whoa.
It's ridiculous. It's so bad.
I need to find one of them women so they can rub my shoulders and scratch my head at the same time.
Well, they'd have to get a 4th hand in because they still got to be on the cell phone.
Shit.
You need Spiral.
Spiral, yeah.
Oh, yeah, from the Mojoverse.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, Asian women and phones are bad. And they all drive like these really big vehicles too, so it's terrifying. When they come flying around the corner and they're on their phone just blathering away.
My imagination again. Imagine they're literally flying around the corner on the phone in the vehicle. I'm going to run down Kyle! He hates Chinese people! Fuck him! Fuck Kyle!
Everybody that we cheat on tests!
I'm not a cheetah!
Oh my god.
It's not a tumor! I don't know why, but that totally reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not a cheetah!
Oh, Jesus. That's so terrible. Well,
Oh, man.
driving. Shit's crazy, yo.
You know what would be much more awesome? If real life was like the Sega Genesis game Road Rash, where if somebody was driving like an asshole, you could just get a chain and put your arm out the window and smash them in the face with it, and then their car would go off the road, and you would get more points because you're now like in 3rd place instead of 4th.
Well, other than the points, I think life really is like that. I'm pretty sure if you drove alongside somebody with a chain and you were to slap them in the face, they probably would go off the road, and you probably would get ahead of them.
But you wouldn't get $5,000 in like a cool victory music when you arrived at Burger King. You just get arrested.
Yes.
Yeah.
That reminds me of this scenario that I've had in my head forever. Like, because I used to walk around everywhere all the time. And occasionally when you walk around, people will drive by you and yell something out the window at you.
That's true.
And so I'm like, one day they're going to do that right before a red light catches them. And what I'm going to do, because it's usually the summertime when I'm walking around, is I'm going to go up to them and their window's going to be open. And I'd have to hope that their seatbelt wasn't on. And it was the passenger. And what I would do is I would reach to the window and grab them right as the light turned green. And I just yell to scare them. And of course the guy's going to accelerate. But I'm going to hold on to the passenger and just pull him out the window. So,
Yes.
you know, as he accelerates, the guy just gets pulled out the window. He's just left there with me as his friend leaves him. But then I just sit him down and pat him on the head and just walk off.
It's like, I could have killed you, but I'm nice.
That's like
'Cause
something
think
out
about-
of like a Japanese movie.
For real.
I always thought of that. Ever since I was like 15, I wanted to do that. Just whoop, right out of the vehicle as they're pulling off, and then just sit them down and pat them on the head and just walk away.
I would like to read your bucket list of things to do before you die. Chuck. If this is on there, I'd like to see the rest of the list.
That actually reminds me of another driving story. Back in the day, my friend Jason Bowman, who we previously discussed with the Fester game, he was riding passenger side in my car as we were going down the road. And he's always been a bit of a smartass, which is why he's my friend. And we're driving down this street called Vineville. And we see a newly married couple walking down the road, like on the side of the road in front of these apartments. So Jason, being the asshole he is, sticks his head out the window, and as we're driving by, he goes, "Phone number!"
Mm-hmm.
And the girl falls down. So on the day of her wedding, she's enjoying her fucking honeymoon stroll with her husband, and some long-haired asshole screams phone number at her, and she collapses like one of those fucking goats that she yelled at. Like Tanaka from Gaki no Tsukai. Gaki no Tsukai. She just falls over, and he's like, "Oh shit, it was her wedding day and I made her fall over." And I was like, that's Jason Bowen, everybody.
Oh man, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I saw a article yesterday talking about downtown, so Matsumoto and Hamada.
Yeah.
And Hitoshi Matsumoto was saying that his retirement is imminent and probably closer than most people would like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is shitty. I mean, it's good. I understand he's been doing it for 30-something years now. It's understandable, and he has a young kid, but talking about his retirement, and I don't know, I kind of got the feel after the last Batsu game that that's what they were hinting to. Because he even said that, that him and Hamada are getting older, and they're looking to, what's it, Kokoriko? Is that the name of the other group that they're with them?
Not Kokoriko, as the Yaderman twin lady said.
Okay. But looking for them to probably take over the mantle of the show.
Whoa, that's awesome.
So, it could be maybe this might be their last year, or they might have 1 or 2 years left. I don't know.
I can handle 1 or 2 more years. I just hope that there's at least one more. Last year was one of the best ones they've done in a long time. We just watched that last night at my house, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. Did a lot of people come over for that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 8. About 8 people.
Nice. Yeah, that last year's the Defense Force one was pretty epic.
Yeah, totally.
Even if you're out there and you've never watched any of the downtown Gaki no Tsukara Batsu games, this last one, the Defense Force, is the way to go. It is so hilarious.
I strongly recommend watching all the Batsu games because I think they're all fucking great.
I've actually only ever watched 2 of them. I've watched this year's and last year's, but I've seen a lot of clips from other ones. It's usually during highlight reels and stuff.
Let me see if I can remember them all from memory. You have 24-hour tag. You have the hot springs. You have Yugawara. You have newspaper agency, spy agency, airplane, hotel. Enthusiastic teacher.
There's a police one, wasn't there?
Police one. Yeah, that was 2006, I think.
And there was also... Isn't there like a nurse one or a hospital one?
Yeah, hospital. That was the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're all great because, I mean, a lot of the references you might not get because a lot of the people they have that show up are just like old TV stars or like movie stars or athletes or something from Japan. But all you really need to worry about is watching how much fun these guys have because just watching them laugh will make you laugh.
Yeah.
And seeing them try to fuck each other up and make each other laugh is just
the best part is when they do it to each other.
Yeah.
Because then they're hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
They start getting mad too. I love as the shows go on, like near the end of them, you can tell they're just so frustrated with each other, and they're so tired because they've been basically getting beat all day.
Yeah,
and fucked with all day. But I watched one of their things today, and it was I guess it was like a man's-eye competition, and it was like Hamada and Matsumoto were like kind of the judges or the hosts for it, and they had Matsumoto's mom on.
Yeah,
and Matsumoto and his mom did one of the like comedy duo things. It was actually pretty funny.
It is.
So
his whole family's funny. They got in on like a Power Rangers skit once, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do all kinds of little things, man. They show up. The whole families of everybody just shows up. Like Endo's family shows up.
Well, his family
every time
is a staple at this point, including his ex-wife and girl that he flirted with and everybody knew about, but didn't go out with him.
Yeah,
like it's a running gag at this point.
Chiaki.
Yeah. Like, some of them, though, like, I've never seen anybody from, like, I've seen Tanaka's wife. She's been in an episode. She was in the last year's Batsu game.
Yeah.
But I've never seen anybody from Yamazaki's family other than, well, I guess his daughters were reading their letter from the new one. Or I've never seen any people from Hamada.
That is one of the best build-ups I've ever seen in my life. Like, before that, I thought Endo's build-up at the from last year, the Enthusiastic Teacher, was one of the best. No. The gratitude letters from this year is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Especially Tanaka.
Yes.
But so yeah, totally. I know we talk about it a lot, but you should totally check it out. We still, I know me and Evan have talked about this, but for those of you who saw us and met us at AWA, I know we want to try to do a downtown panel to talk about it, and I think really would be downtown would probably be our major focus, but we should probably just talk about Japanese comedy duos in general, because you kind of have to understand the concept of Japanese comedy duos, and it's very vaudevillian. It's like Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, you got a straight man and a dumb guy, and they're always working off of each other.
Exactly.
Tsukomi and Boshi? What is
Boku.
That? Boku and Tsukomi.
So, but you should totally check out Downtown. They're probably the best right now.
Mm.
I mean, there's other good ones. But they're all come through Downtown at this point. So,
a really good quick thing to start off with is the Kiki series. And what they do in the Kiki series is they have to try, they get blindfolded, and they have to try one of something. And then there are 20 of those somethings put in front of them after they take the blindfold off. And they have to remember by taste which of the somethings they just had. And if they choose incorrectly, they get punished. And one of my favorite ones of all time is the curry episode. So, like, they're blindfolded, they try this curry, and then they have these 20 curries in front of them. And some of them are really hot, some of them are not. And it's just some of the best punishments I've seen. Some of the best batsus I've ever seen.
yeah.
So I would strongly recommend looking up Kiki Curry Gaki no Tsukai. That's a great episode. It's only like 20 minutes long, but it'll give you an idea of the series. Kind of like a Japanese Jackass, if you will.
I like their cooking episodes they do, too.
Frisk. Indo and the Frisk pizza, man. That was the best.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Frisk is a Japanese mint.
Yeah.
Fuck, we are nerds, man.
Actually, in Japan, they have mints called Frisk.
Oh, okay.
All right, then. Well, I think we've nerded it up enough and rambled enough and all that. I think we should end it.
Yeah. We'll
right.
put it to an endo.
Auto!
Auto!
All right, guys. So, until next time, I'm Kyle.
I like Monster Girls.
I'm Shane.
Holy shit.
Aha! I got you.